Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are in Geneva, Switzerland to discuss that proposed deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war.
And it comes as many U.S. and world leaders are pushing back on President Trump's proposed 28-point peace plan. They argue it must be revised because it's overly favorable to Russia and demands too many concessions from Ukraine. The plan reportedly includes Kyiv ceding territory to Moscow, abandoning its NATO ambitions, and limiting the size of its army. While the proposal would also provide security guarantees for Ukraine, including a NATO-like model committing allies to help defend Ukraine in a future attack, President Vladimir Zelensky says his country faces a stark choice between standing up for its sovereignty and preserving the American support it needs. Trump is giving Ukraine until Thursday to accept or reject the plan, though he now says this won't be his final offer.
That is Fox's Chanley Painter. 82 million Americans are expected to be on the move for Thanksgiving, but forecasters are watching two storm systems that could cause some headaches. Fox's Adam Klotz has your outlook.
Big storms moving across Texas, ultimately moving towards Arkansas. One of the few places that might slow down travel is you're looking at least some sort of flood risk there across Texas on Sunday. It does move a little farther off towards the east on Monday. It does lighten up a bit on Tuesday, but it's that line of storms we're going to pay attention to. It does bring a risk for some severe weather as you get into tomorrow as well. So anyone who's traveling the next couple of days, that's going to be the system that could slow you down Tuesday into Wednesday. By Wednesday, it's up along the East Coast. And then by the time you actually get into Thanksgiving, you're looking at some pretty clear conditions. So there will be a couple spots where maybe we see some slowdowns at airports, but largely the weather's looking pretty good.
The FAA says they are prepared for this to be the busiest Thanksgiving travel period in 15 years. America is listening to Fox News.
Hello, everyone. This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
Neil McDonough portrays Jesus. Stacy Keach, Sean Astin, Michael York, and Kristen Bell provide the voices for some of Jesus' notable followers. A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told, The Life of Jesus. First episode's available Sunday, November 30th.
Make sure to spread the word.
Listen and follow starting November 30th on FoxNewsPodcasts.com. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
This is Jason Chaffetz from the Jason in the House podcast. Join me every Monday to dive deeper into the latest political headlines and chat with remarkable guests to hear their take on American life, politics, and entertainment. And don't forget, there's always somebody doing something stupid somewhere.
Listen and follow now at FoxNewsPodcast.com
or wherever you download podcasts.
Must listen to podcasts from Fox News Audio.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Friends and family gathered in Muncie Saturday to say goodbye. It's cloudy, but it will turn sunny this afternoon, 45. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 11:03. Nearly 2 weeks ago, Delaware County Corporal Blake Reynolds was killed while helping a stranded driver on I-69. He served Delaware County for 4 years after time in the National Guard, and he was remembered as a man whose purpose was clear right from the start of his career.
From his first day on the job, Blake knew law enforcement wasn't just a profession, it was his calling. He was hardwired to protect and to serve, and he did this with courage, compassion, and a heart for people.
Pastor Brian White talking to Wish TV. Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston says the state can become a leader in the Midwest for economic growth. Jarrett Lewis.
By cutting taxes, reducing energy costs, and making home ownership more affordable for Hoosiers, Houston believes Indiana can continue to bring in new residents and grow the state's economy even more.
We're all working on the same goal, to create a thriving Indiana that will be a great place for all of us to live, our children and our grandchildren.
A recent report from MarketWatch also shows Indiana as one of 15 states in the country currently experiencing expansion and growth. The 2026 legislative session has officially begun, with lawmakers planning to meet the first week of January. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indianapolis Colts play the Kansas City Chiefs today at 1. News time 11:04. Your American Standard Heating Weather Center forecast with Ryan Morse.
Mostly sunny skies for your Sunday. High temperatures in the mid-50s. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. Patchy early morning fog can't be ruled out. Lows in the low to mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
A new coach, a new team, a new energy in Bloomington.
You're going to see a bunch of guys that are all about winning. They play incredibly hard.
Coach Darren DeVries is ready to write the next chapter in Hoosier basketball.
We love what I think the fans are going to be able to see in terms of how we approach every game.
IU basketball is back. Up next, Kansas State. Tuesday at 8 on the home of the Hoosiers, 93 WIBC.
Another accident? What happened?
Our truck driver got cut off, and they're getting blamed. No witnesses, no proof, and insurance is skyrocketing.
Wait, our drivers shouldn't take the blame for this?
Exactly why we need Samsara. Their AI dashcam show real-time video proving when our drivers aren't at fault.
So we protect our drivers and avoid false claims?
Yep. Companies using Samsara have exonerated their drivers and saved millions on insurance.
Protect your drivers and your bottom line at Samsara.com. Samsara. Operate smarter.
Somebody has an attitude this morning.
It's our little gobbler. I'm about to be. Well, I'm not going to say that. She's been up for a while.
She ate her Wheaties, I will say that.
All of the Thanksgiving dinner. She's another year older, too, our little Kielynn.
Happy birthday, sweet
had a birthday on Friday.
I
don't age. What are you talking about?
Those are famous last words.
It was very, very nice. Although I don't know what age I am. I'm stuck on 22, so I couldn't tell you. So.
One of these days you'll grow up, and it'll be all of a sudden.
Here's the funny thing about aging, the interesting thing, and actually the good thing about aging. Truly, if all is well, you don't realize how old you are. You still have the brain, or you're still thinking like a younger person, whether that's picking out clothes or whatever it might be.
We're basically all animals. Animals don't know their age. They don't know when they're at risk.
Yeah. It's still good.
Yeah.
So keep our brains healthy.
So what age
Hi, everybody.
are you?
I should say good morning to you. This is the First Day Show in case you're tuning in for the first time. That would be cool. I'd love to have a first timer. It is November 23rd. I'm Terri Stacy. This is Denny Smith.
Good morning. And don't forget this smart aleck little girl this morning who's having a birthday. You think you're hot
It's
snot
still my
here.
birthday weekend. You better respect it.
Kylan May Talley, happy birthday.
She's here.
Thank
She's
you.
here. It is a beautiful. Oh, somebody's closed my blinds. Wait, is it nice out?
It is.
Oh, it's very nice
it's
out.
getting
The sun
very
is
sunny,
shining.
especially compared to this morning being all that foggy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But what a sunset last night. Oh, my gosh. It was one of the most beautiful, beautiful Indiana sunsets I've ever seen. I'm not lying. Let's look ahead, though, because today, again, we're okay weather-wise for today, at this moment. Looking ahead to your Thanksgiving Day travel, it is going to be cold. It is going to be cold on Thanksgiving Day for your turkey egg hunting. You're going to have to bundle up. It's going to be cold on Black Friday, the day after, the day we light the lights here on the Circle.
The high will be in the 30s. Now, think about that.
It's going to feel really cold. So that's what's ahead. But they should be nice, dry days. And I think maybe even some sunny days.
I heard some bad news this week. One of my favorite weathercasters is Joe Bastardi from the Nittany Lions from Penn State. He said it's going to be wet, lots of snow, and lots of cold.
For the winter?
For the winter. And that's our area from Pennsylvania over to Illinois.
But that's a
I feel
winter.
Like that's pretty average for Indiana.
That's no guess. You need to find a new guy.
Snow.
And congratulations.
He could take over the Farmer's Almanac.
And congratulations to Brian Wilkes, who was Weathercaster of the Year.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Oh, way to go, Brian. Congratulations. Yep, he well deserved. Box office, Wicked for good. Opening record smashing $151 million plus in the U.S., $228 million globally. It is huge.
I'd say that's defying gravity.
Yeah.
All right.
Biggest debut ever for a Broadway adaptation, and the third best among any musical.
All right.
You could say it was popular.
Kylan May, you got to be honest with me. Does it have a happy ending?
I'm not gonna, Denny.
Come on.
Why?
I don't like to go to movies that have bad endings.
You should go and find out.
A bad ending?
I think you're going to like it.
You know, where you're depressed. You're thinking, oh,
I definitely tried.
You know what?
Bring your tissues.
It's not real life.
Yeah, Denny, come on.
What, The Wizard of Oz is not real life?
It's not a true story.
Green witches are not real life.
That's a true story.
Don't you see me flying out there too every once in a while?
All right, you guys, we've got a lot coming up in the next couple of hours. We're glad you're here. I know we will keep you up to date on the news at the top and the bottom of the hour, the top stories of the day. But here on the first day, we kind of skip around and we lighten it up a little bit, and we're going to talk redistricting in the next hour, or is it coming up? No,
next hour.
Next hour. We're going to talk about that a little bit
15.
with a local professor, and I think you'll find that an interesting conversation. I know Ethan's going to drop by and bring us something old.
Oh, some show and tell.
Show and tell. First day show and tell. We'll talk a little bit about shopping, retail. Sounds like in some places,
Perfect time of year.
Gen Z is bringing it back to life.
How is Black Friday deals are already happening.
Oh,
it's not a Black Friday.
They're slamming together
No.
Black Friday,
What is going
Cyber
on?
Monday. They're all slammed together with one big sale
Happy
now.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And before we take a break, I mentioned for your turkey egg hunting on Thanksgiving Day, I wondered why I looked this up. I spent time doing it. Why we don't eat turkey eggs. Because I bet they're delicious.
You know what? That's a really good question.
Because turkeys only lay very few eggs a year, and they would cost a fortune. The price of them would cost a fortune because there's so
even
few
more than
of
our
them.
eggs.
But if you found a wild turkey and wild turkey just laid an egg, I've never seen one. I'd like to taste one.
I've had a duck egg omelet. I've never had. They're supposed to be ostrich egg omelets that are supposed to be to die for. But that's a lot. That's a lot of food.
Those are very, very expensive.
Yeah.
But some restaurants
But
do have
I've
them.
had ducks, but I've never had turkey. I've never even seen a turkey egg.
They're there, and people have had them before, and they say they're delicious if you get to have them. They say they're creamier and they're bigger. But anyway, turkeys just don't lay that many, so they
I'd be
cost
curious
a fortune.
how the nutrition is compared to
like a
between
chicken
duck
egg or a
and
duck.
chicken.
Well, they say eggs are the
ostrich.
perfect food.
And I think they are.
They're
I could
super
eat
good.
eggs for every meal.
Every meal.
Every one.
every
And
day.
sometimes I do. I love them.
I'll
I've
give
got
you-
one sitting on the register in the office keeping warm right now.
That's not healthy.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Coming up, though, and this is cool, Kielynn has a really cool friend, and now I want her to be my friend, too. She's all over the city. She does all kinds of stuff. November is Native American Heritage Month, and we're going to talk to Haley Jordan after the break. You're listening to The First Day on 93 WIBC. 40 years ago, what is now the country's largest home
Sweet, thank God for this Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving is a time to really express our gratitude and share time with family and friends, but Native Americans' perspectives also are important to include when we talk about the history of the first Thanksgiving. And also, November is Native American Heritage Month. You've got a very special guest with us today,
Someone
Kielynn.
I am very grateful for as well. She is also a woman in broadcasting, does many things. Just to name a few, she's a sideline reporter and MC for Indy Ignite, the volleyball team, MC for IU men's basketball, MC for Indy Fuel Hockey, IU men's basketball, Indianapolis Indians. There's so many things that she does, but she is also a member of the Cherokee tribe with some Navajo blood as well. Haley Jordan joins us today to talk a little bit about this. Haley, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and during such a meaningful month, too. I very much appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Let's start with you giving us a little bit of your family history.
My dad is full-blooded Native American. His name is Daryl, and he is from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. He grew up in Indian country out there. Did not live on a reservation, but his native language is actually Cherokee. Unfortunately, he does not remember any Cherokee because he grew up going to predominantly English-speaking schools, but he was immersed in the culture. He went to school with lots of Native Americans, and so he was able to live in that culture ever since he was young. And then when he met my mom and moved to Indiana, that is when not many natives, I didn't go to school with that many natives when I was born up through college, really. And so I, in my adult life, have really tried to learn more, read more about who I am, about my culture, both my Cherokee and Navajo heritage, and as well as other tribes, too. But I am happy that I have my dad as kind of my family historian to ask questions to as well.
You grew up with your dad instilling that from a very young age. What were some of those traditions that you guys upheld through childhood and onward?
One of my favorite traditions in my house, and I haven't seen this in a little while, but when I was younger, my dad knows how to make custom dream catchers. That was a Native American tradition, yes, and they would be in our garage. And as a kid, I didn't learn about any of this in school, so I didn't really know what a dream catcher was or what all the traditional colors meant. And to be honest, I'm not sure where my dad learned how to make them, but I can imagine growing up in Tahlequah, he picked up lots of skills from lots of different natives during his early life there. But that is still to this day one of my favorite things that I'm most proud of to share about my dad, is that he's able to do so much of that native craftsmanship.
Well, even you are able to do that now, too. You've picked up skills like basket weaving.
Yeah. I work for the Indianapolis Indians downtown, and that team works really closely with some tribes around Indianapolis, especially the Miami tribe, and they really work hard to include Native American culture and include tribe members in the planning and branding for some of the teams. And so they host a Native American Heritage Night every single season. At the time, I was Miss Indiana USA, and I was emceeing the game for Native American Heritage Night. And I thought, this is just so perfect. I wanted to be here anyway. It just kind of worked out. And I was walking through the concourse, and they had all of these Native artists and designers there, and they had a basket weaving booth set up. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks awesome. Me growing up in Indiana and just not being around too many natives, I was like, this is so cool. I'm getting to learn more. So I struck up a conversation with a woman named Susan, and I was like, this basket is incredible. I want to learn how to make one. And she said, well, you can come to my house and I'll teach you. And I was like, okay. So Susan and I, it turns out she only lives about 5 minutes from my dad. And so I would go over there about once a month and weave baskets with her and her husband. I got to know her super well, and she even picked out a traditional Cherokee design for me to learn to weave. So it took me over a year to finish this basket, but it is proudly sitting in my apartment now. So I'm super thankful for her guidance and for teaching me how to do it.
That is so, so cool. We're talking to Haley Jordan, and we're talking about Thanksgiving and the role of Native American. It is Native American Heritage Month, and I'm told that Thanksgiving is already a way of life for Native Americans every day. Is that true?
I would say so. We just have grown up with that mindset. I think that coming from the Cherokee and Navajo tribe, I always try to instill that toughness into my everyday life. I would say that every Native has a factor of toughness to them, but also this soft, compassionate, grateful side as well. I love November and being around the table at Thanksgiving because I truly feel just, I don't know, almost like the heart and souls of my ancestors surrounding me. I know that it's really important to my dad and tribes all over the nation. So I'm just very grateful to be in the center of the education and culture that Thanksgiving brings every year.
Mm-hmm. You have gone through a lot of toughness. You had mentioned earlier, yes, you won Miss Indiana USA in 2023, and you were the youngest Miss Indiana in history, crowned in 2017. On your pageant journey, you also talked and advocated for your grief journey, whether it's with your mom.
I did not know I was capable of getting through something like that. And I know, unfortunately, I'm not the only one that's had to walk through this, but my mom passed away when I was 22. I was currently, at the time, taking my finals for my last semester at Indiana University, and she was in home hospice. And so that's really where I saw that Native American toughness coming through. My dad has always had it. I have seen him grow up with it. He's an Army vet and fought in wars and overseas, and I always said my dad's the toughest, most strong person I've ever known, and I wish I could be more like him. Well, unfortunately, that got put to the test when I had to navigate my grief journey and walk through all of that. But the good news was I had an excellent example of my true warrior and true hero, my dad, to be able to help me and my brother walk through that. I think that just being Native and just having that strong toughness about us, that quality, I mean, we have it in our hearts. We have it in our minds, and that has been super helpful in getting me through this grief journey. I'm just so thankful for my dad, for him being just such a stable presence in our lives and still, in a way, treating us like adults, but also we can still be kids around him too, even though I'm 27. He's been immensely helpful with my brother and I.
It's interesting that this year's theme for Native American Month is Tribal Nations, Sovereignty, Trust, and Resilience. I think for me, the first time I was introduced to Native Americans, it was the Thanksgiving story. Mm-hmm. That's what I grew up learning and knowing. And then as I've gotten older, we know that story has changed somewhat. And so I'm wondering for you, that Thanksgiving story, if it's been told to you probably different than what me, as somebody that's older, learned as a kid. Did you learn that same Thanksgiving story, or was your story a little different?
I learned the same one that you probably did. I remember my earliest memory of learning about Native American history was actually in kindergarten. And each class, one class would dress up as pilgrims and one as natives. I don't know if that would be, super politically correct in today's climate, but as kiddos, we're learning, and I think that was the teacher's best way of kind of giving us a real-world example of what essentially happened. And so that's what I grew up learning, but it didn't really go beyond that. Maybe every once in a while we would read about the history in our history textbooks, back when textbooks were a thing. I'm a teacher now and they are not. But other than that, I've really had to do my own research and read up on tribal history myself, because it's not a super big history unit going throughout school or even college as well.
Has your dad ever told a different story growing up in the Cherokee tribe?
He was not, to my knowledge. He grew up, so his mom was Cherokee and then his dad was full-blooded Navajo. So he had two different tribal roots that he grew up with. But to my knowledge, no, he never got a different story either, even being surrounded by lots more Native American culture than what my brother and I did as kids.
For Thanksgiving, for your Thanksgiving feast, are there any Native traditions, traditional foods that come to the table?
We do not do any traditional foods in Indiana, but if you were to ask that to my Tahlequah, Oklahoma family, they do the full spread. They have got a lot of delicious fried foods, and unfortunately, I have not been able to try their fried foods in a while. We have not been to Oklahoma in some time, but I just remember that being such a big part of not just their Thanksgiving plates, but every weekend they have some sort of traditional dish.
With it being Native American Heritage Month, what's a tradition that you are interested in and maybe going to learn about more?
I wouldn't maybe call it a tradition, but more so of a component of a lifestyle that I would really like to be involved in is Native American powwows. They have them all over for various tribes, and I have seen them, but I have just not been able to get off work to go travel to one of them. But that is my ultimate goal, and on my bucket list is to be able to attend and learn. That is where you're going to find the rich Native American culture, the music, the traditional outfits that they wear, the languages, the instruments. That is where you can get all of the culture in one setting surrounded by other natives.
Haley Jordan, is there anything else you want our audience to know before we let you go about Native American Heritage Month and the Thanksgiving holiday?
I would just tell everybody, especially those who are interested in history, to find some sort of Native American literature to just dive into, even movies out there that more accurately depict the Native American holidays, Indigenous Peoples Day, Native American Heritage Month. But that way we can all be more informed and support all Native tribes and our Native friends, too.
We thank you so much. Wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. Please come back and see us.
Thank you. You guys, too. I appreciate you having me on and sharing a piece of my heart today.
She's terrific. She's a terrific young lady. 1128. Guys, coming up. So Netflix opened its first permanent IRL location. Kielynn, what's IRL?
In real life.
And Simon Mall near Philadelphia. And this exhibit includes like Bridgerton balls and a money heist escape room.
I love this.
I know it. And here in the Indianapolis, we love our malls, right? We've got Black Friday coming up and the shopping that we used to go to the malls and be there at, midnight for the sales and doors to open.
Well, you would think we love them, but...
Well, they've kind of, as we know, they're struggling. Washington Square is for sale. We just heard this past week, Circle Center told its tenants, you got to get out. Get out here
by
the
the
next
end
month.
of the year.
Yep,
yeah.
Get out of here. And so anyway, but according to retailbound.com and others, Gen Z is flocking back to the mall. So Yohan Jacob from Retailbound, he's going to join us next to tell us more about this story. The news is coming up. 93 WIBC. 93 WIBC and Network Indiana. Black Friday shopping. I remember buying everything at the shopping mall. Washington Square, Castleton Square. Loved it. Fantastic atmosphere. Crazy at times. Always fun. And then things changed, but malls are apparently making a comeback, appealing to Gen Z. There's a story this week that Netflix House is bringing people to the mall by opening large-scale immersive entertainment venues inside former department stores. And here to talk about all of this is Yohan Jacob, retail channel management consultant with retailbound.com. Hello, Yohan. How are you?
Good, Terri. How about yourself?
We're good. We've been hearing that malls are making a comeback. From your perspective, is this just a story, or is this a real, true thing that Gen Z is loving the malls?
It's a real, true thing, Terri. I mean, people want real experiences anymore. You know, the last 4 or 5 years since COVID, we've all been behind the screens, right? So people want to get out. They want to be entertained, right? They want to touch and feel things that digital screens can't replicate. So, yes, malls are here to stay, by the way, Terri.
Is this maybe a shift in shopping behavior or something different?
Well, you mentioned before about the next generation, right, Gen Z, right? That demographic, they want to be more social than us old people in their 50s, right?
Yeah.
So malls are becoming more social destinations, a place to gather or dine, or even spend friends and family, right? So you can ice skate at the mall, you can bowl at the mall, you can play shopping and dining, right? So malls have become more destination places than just to go buy a pair of pants or a TV, by the way.
Yohan, do you think that this is a nationwide trend, or is the mall revival kind of concentrated in certain regions or types of markets?
That's a great question. I think it's depending on the demographic. I think it's a nationwide industry. I think I've gotten a lot of interest from various brands that want to do pop-up stores in malls, whether it's in New York or Chicago or LA, right? It depends on location, but it seems like it's a nationwide event, by the way.
Here in Indianapolis, a couple of our malls have really struggled, and one in particular is for sale. Those that own these malls, they've got to come up with a different way to appeal to Gen Z, right?
That's correct. By the way, before I started Retail Bound, I was a retail buyer for a mall-based brand called Sears. It had hundreds of stores, right?
Yeah.
Over almost 1,000 stores in major malls across the United States. Obviously, times have changed. Mall owners are trying to find how to get people back in the store, right? COVID, by the way, in 2020, caused retailers to find ways to make it easier to shop, like buy online, pick up in store, right? They enhance their both their e-commerce and their mobile shopping. Now, in the mall base, a lot of mall owners are trying to add like mobile app to help you navigate through parking and rewards. So yes, mall owners are trying to find ways to get the Generation Z, right, other generations back in the mall to not just to dine and to play, but also shop as well.
Are there particular categories, whether that's fashion or beauty or entertainment or dining? Do you see which categories maybe are benefiting the most from Gen Z foot traffic?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Being facetious, right? Looking at my kids, they're going to the mall to, hang out, to maybe dine or to see a movie. And by the way, while I'm there, I'm gonna go to a store to shop. Which comes first, chicken and egg, right? If you're going to the mall to shop and then go out to eat or to play or go bowling, or are they going to the mall to go bowling or play an arcade and then go shop? But regardless, I think the malls are catering to all types of people, all ages, all demographics. So it's good to see the malls are coming back now than was, because years ago, a lot of doom and gloom.
Yohan Jacob is with us, retail channel management consultant. He's with Retail Bound, retailbound.com. I want to ask about maybe what malls need to do to still stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years. Do you think about that, how they need to sustain themselves?
Yeah, I think a lot of the bigger mall owners like Simon and Westfield continue to survey their customers, not just their retailers who lease space to them, but also the end customers. What do they want? They want, concierge. They want better ways to park, eat, safety, things like that, right? So I think, mall owners are continuing to listen to both their tenants and their customers, amenities they want to keep coming back. What's interesting, a little fun fact. So when I was at Sears eons ago, we did a little study on malls. 30 years ago, people who lived 3 miles, 6 miles, and 12 miles from a mall were very loyal to a mall, right? Fast forward to, I say, maybe 15 years ago, people who lived 3 miles from the mall were still very loyal. But people who lived 6 miles or 12 miles weren't as loyal because they had more options off the mall, like a Best Buy, a Kohl's. So the way malls are trying to get people back to the mall who live 6 miles and 12 miles, because the ones who live 3 miles from the mall are just as slow they were a couple years ago, Terry, by the way.
What advice do you give those emerging brands that really want to leverage malls to reach Gen Z and maybe even some people like me that are a little older?
And our clients make innovative products, right? They're not, they're not like your Me Too iPhone cases or water bottles, right? So they're always trying to find ways to drive people into the stores, right? And so we're doing a pop-up or a kiosk or even an event to drive people to get excitement. But even like Apple and Tesla, they've done it for years, driving people to the malls. People wait in line to get the new iPhone 17, right? So I think for brands that want to, test new products in new markets, it's a great way to jump in and get your feet wet, by the way,
Yeah,
Terry.
and that story that I mentioned about Netflix House, bringing people to the mall by opening these large-scale immersive entertainment venues inside those former department stores. They're saying, okay, well, we believe in the mall. They're making this investment too.
Yeah, and a lot of communities that, like you said, are in more distressed areas or different. How can we get it back, right? So, maybe it's more than a traditional shopping center. It's more of a community anchor that combines like retail, co-working, health services. I remember a couple years ago as a consultant, we were asked, hey, for this retailer, they had some space in a mall here in Chicago, a couple malls in Chicago. They wanted to help us design the space to be half co-working in the back, and then in the front of the store is stuff that people were actually making in the back, right? So almost like a combination retail / co-working space. That was kind of cool, by the way, right? Here's 14,000 square feet in a mall, a former Sport Authority store, and this guy wanted to take that store, and the portion where the store was co-working for young entrepreneurs, and then the front of the store was the artists could actually sell the products, while in the mall. So it was really kind of cool concept. Hopefully someday someone will come with that idea again with some funding behind it.
Yeah, for sure. Yohan Jacob is his name, retail channel management consultant with Retailbound, retailbound.com. And this story, which is interesting that Gen Z is trying their best to keep the malls alive. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Happy holidays to you and your family and friends, and thanks for giving us some of your insight. We appreciate it.
Likewise, Terry.
It's 11:42. I miss the mall. I miss going to the mall at the holiday season. Not that we couldn't here, but on my side of town.
It was a tradition growing up.
It was a tradition.
You get done with your Thanksgiving meal, you hang out, maybe take a little food coma nap, and then you wake up at midnight and go to the malls.
We always went to the mall to look at girls.
And that was it?
Well,
on Thanksgiving
boys didn't do
night,
much shopping back then, but we did like it. The girls were shopping, we could find them there.
Oh, Denny.
It was so fun, Kielynn, back in the olden days when, honestly, when you were done with the meal and you'd wait until midnight, you'd go down to Edinburgh and you'd go to the outlet mall where you could save so much money. And it was just a fun tradition for so many families. Everybody get in the car and go. Really cool. All right, so coming up, another tradition. It is Thanksgiving week. Lots of traditions. And Denny Smith is going to help you save money by not doing something wrong.
We'll just call it's the Plumber's Super Bowl coming up.
There you go. That's next. 93 WIBC.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger.
got a friend in Denny. I switched the camera over so you could see his smiling face. I'm sorry.
He is beaming.
I'm going to switch it. I'm going to spin it around.
You just remember what you did.
Denny said, oh, you've got a friend in Denny. He's here. You've got a friend in Denny. Hey, Denny Paul, happy Thanksgiving, buddy boy.
I think it's time for you to sing for us. Can you do that instead?
Sure.
We're all together again. We're here. We're here. We're all together again. We're here. We're here. And who knows when we'll be all together again. Singing all together again, we're here.
Oh,
How about that?
That's a perfect Thanksgiving song.
You know, that's a song that we learned in Boy Scouts, but I tried to find where it got started. It got started in the 1800s as camp songs, and the Church of Latter-day Saints picked it up and put it in their songbook.
You have such a beautiful voice. You sounded a little like Bing Crosby.
Oh, hey, well.
Hey, you can switch your career real quick.
Bing wore a toupee. I guess I can look forward to that, too.
So the history of this song, it's a perfect song, I think, for Thanksgiving.
It is.
And it was a children's songbooks and stuff, right?
Children's
I mean, it was a song many know.
And then it was picked up right around World War I because a lot of the kids that had gone to camp ended up being soldiers. And so, you know, you can imagine them sitting around knowing they're going to battle, and somebody pipes up with that song, and you could just see all the soldiers saying, hey, I know that song. I learned that when I was in the woods and all that.
I love it.
And so the legend is, and I haven't been able to prove that or find any real substantiation to it, was that, you know, the soldiers going off to war, they didn't know whether they were coming back, and so we're all together again, and who knows when we're going to be all together again. And then you think about Thanksgiving. I mean, here you are. You got families, you got in-laws and outlaws, and
all together again.
I know. I was thinking about Kielynn. Kielynn's got people scattered to the four winds, and I don't know what she's going to do for Thanksgiving.
I don't even know what I'm going to do for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, see?
I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, you better learn
your
because
own
it's minutes away.
I know. I know. Isn't that how it goes?
I'm sort of off the hook this year because the grandkids are both getting their wisdom teeth taken out on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Man.
So I don't think that's going to happen. But think about this. We are all together, and it normally involves food, a little bit of melancholy, a little bit, you remember this? You know, the whole reminiscing thing. So Thanksgiving can be a fun time, but it's also one of the few times that we get the whole families together where it's not a funeral or a birth or a death or something, you know?
And then we've got this great day following Thanksgiving, which is our Black Friday, and we will all be together again for the lighting of the tree here on the circle of lights. But yeah, you call it the Super Bowl of plumbers on the day after
and
Thanksgiving.
It's for a variety of reasons. Traditionally, people, I call them my Aunt Terri and Uncle Sullivan. Those are my two characters, okay? So a garbage disposal is not a blender. So when people come in, one of the things they do is that there's two different types of people. There are people who shove everything in and then turn on the switch. And then there are the people that just think it's just behave as if you are on the International Space Station. Anything that goes in there has to go someplace, and so behave like that. I mean, people shove everything in there and then they throw the switch. Here's the right way to use a garbage disposal. Are you ready, Terry?
And then tell us things we should not be putting in the garbage disposal.
All right. Well, the first thing you do is you start the cold water. Let the cold water go, not hot water.
Why cold?
I didn't know that.
See, that's the Aunt Terri. Aunt Terri thinks I'm gonna get everything that it'll flush it all down. No, what you do are you're creating glue about 20 foot down the pipe when it all cools down.
I didn't know that.
Never use hot water.
Did anybody, those of you watching us did you know? You on YouTube?
Don't use hot water. Start the cold water, then turn on the disposer, and then feed small amounts into it. Now, for those of us who are over the age of 80, and that is not I'm not over 80, but I remember the first garbage disposals were called batch feed, where you just put everything in there, and then you put the little stopper down, and you turn the switch, and then ran the water. That was called batch feed. So if you're over the age of 80, I forgive you for not knowing how to use what we call continuous feed. The continuous feed is turn on the cold water, turn on the disposer, and feed small amounts in. Don't jam it up like Uncle Sullivan does. Uncle Sullivan he puts everything in there as if it's just going to boom, and it does.
A lot of us do.
Yeah, and so then it clogs it up, and then you got a real mess. It's a $300 bill any way you look at it. So you've
But
really got to
there's things that you think are okay to put down in the garbage disposal, and you say there's not.
Well, there's several things. The first thing is don't put potato skins in there. For the traditionalists,
potato skins.
No.
Right? He says don't do it.
No. Don't do it. They create such a hazard. They become glue. Okay, everything that's in a potato skin becomes glue down the pipe. All right, don't put grease. Terry, I know that
no, I'm
you
good.
heat
really
it up.
good
You
about
heat
that.
it up, and you think it's going to coagulate. In the
I'm
sewer.
better with grease.
Stringy vegetables. You don't want stringy vegetables. Things like celery. Aunt Terry's famous cauliflower cranberry salad. Don't put that down the disposer. Okay.
No.
Yeah, bones. Everybody thinks that bones are going to disintegrate. In just a second, I'll tell you how a garbage disposal works. But they think it cleans the blades. Horse crocky. It doesn't clean the blades. If anything, it could break the little hammers that are down there.
Okay.
Rice and pasta. Don't put rice and pasta down.
I have heard that one.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, because it expands. It absorbs the water, and it clogs the pipe every time.
Your apartment will fine you if they find rice in your garbage disposal and it's broken.
Rice,
come
though,
after you.
Rice is just these little tiny bitty things.
But they absorb water and they expand at the wrong part of the drainage system. And the last one is
bigger pipes.
Always No. Now we're getting into wash capacity. Now, you do know I'm a master plumber since 1971.
Yeah.
We depend on the wash capacity of the pipe to be about 40 to 60%. Okay, that means that the pipe is half full. If you use something that expands like rice or pasta, then it blurts that out, and it's not good. So anyway, here's the classic Thanksgiving scenario. You ready?
Ready.
Aunt Terry scrapes every plate in the sink. Uncle Sullivan flips the switch. The disposal groans, lights flicker, you hear noises usually reserved for snowblowers hitting rocks, and then there's complete silence. Congratulations, you've just earned a $300 holiday price service call from your favorite plumber.
That's probably true.
It's probably every bit of $300 because first of all, it's overtime because of the weekend. And then they got to get out the machine, and then they've got to clean it up.
Can I pay you $250 and a Thanksgiving plate to come fix mine when it happens?
You know better. Okay, what?
I grew up without a garbage disposal. I hate using it. I get terrified turning it on.
It's one of those scary
I remember
things.
when we used to throw garbage into the pails, and I remember in the summertime where the maggots would come and everything. The garbage disposal really is a great human device. But once again, now I'm going to test you both. What's the first thing you do with your garbage disposal?
Cold water.
Cold water.
Yeah, cold water.
Kielynn gets it.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Don't put any of that other stuff in there.
No, number 2, you got to turn on the disposal.
Oh, turn on right. But always with water.
Always with water.
Always, whenever you turn it on, the water needs to be on.
And what's number 3?
Don't put any of that stuff down in there.
Just small amounts. Feed it in
Small
gradually.
amounts.
All right, and we don't want to use potato skins, grease, all that other stuff. that we told you
Noodles.
about. Or noodles.
Rice.
All right. The 4th thing, what is it that we do?
Call the plumber?
No. We leave the water running. Even
that's
after
right.
you think it's all down, we want to wash it way down to the bigger pipes where it can pick up water from the toilets and water from the washing machine.
So
and
keep it
wash
running.
Yes, we want to keep it running.
Do you keep the garbage disposal running or the water running? Do you keep both of them?
I normally do both of them.
Will it hurt it if it's running too long after
No,
that?
if it does, it might go off on a thermal reset, but there's a reset button on the bottom.
Okay.
So remember, treat your garbage disposal with respect. If not, your plumber's going to see you on Blackwater Friday. And always remember, if your sink backs up, it's Uncle Sullivan's for it.
Your favorite Thanksgiving tradition.
There you go.
What is it, Denny Paul?
I just think being with Mackie, we started off the two of us, and that's probably how
many
we're
Thanksgivings have you shared?
55. How about that?
Wow.
All right, and it doesn't matter what type of garbage disposal you have. Follow these rules. Cold water, turn it on, feed it in gradually, let it run for another 10 to 20 seconds, and then you're in the Hall of Fame.
And now go enjoy your Thanksgiving food, thinking about your black water.
Denny, thank you. Thanks for doing this for us. We appreciate it. We've got another hour left. Thanks for joining us here on First Day. The news is next.
Ukraine peace talks continue. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Rubio are in talks aimed at ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. President Trump speaking at the White House yesterday saying that proposal on the table is not his final offer.
No, not my part. No, we'd like to get the peace. It should have happened a long time ago. The Ukraine war with Russia should have never happened. If I were president, it never would have happened. We're trying to get it ended. One way or the other, we have to get it ended.
White House denies that plan favors Moscow. President has increased military pressure on Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports from the port of Spain in Trinidad and Tobago.
Reuters exclusively reporting U.S. to launch new phase of Venezuela operations. 2 U.S. officials said covert operations would likely be the first part of the new action against Maduro. The operations under consideration include attempting to overthrow Maduro. Venezuelan leader has remained defiant. Friday, he attended a public rally with college students, attendance likely mandatory. He had a great interview with Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who, like President Trump, says Maduro's days are numbered.
Trump administration has conducted at least 21 strikes on boats suspected of carrying drugs in Central and South American waters. Secretary of State Rubio announcing the discovery of a criminal network allegedly linked to Maduro and his inner circle. A new report revealing the mother of Anna Kepner, the 18-year-old woman found dead aboard a Carnival cruise ship recently, apparently found out about her daughter's death online, saying her ex-husband, who was on the cruise with Anna, did not immediately let her know that their daughter had died. Anna's body was found stuffed under a bed on board the ship. No arrests so far. America's listening to Fox News.
You never know who might be taking the quiz.
Hi, I'm Teresa Giudice.
I'm Clay Aiken.
I am Dre DeMatteo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Whelan.
Hey, everybody. It's Billy Baldwin.
It's Patricia Heaton.
Hey, everyone. I'm Nicole Palizzi.
It's Candace Bushnell.
Hey, everyone. It's Henry Golding.
Hey, everybody. It's Kevin Nealon.
I'm Ted Lange, and it's time to take the quiz.
5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at thequiz.fox.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Several shootings on Indy's east side this morning. It's mostly sunny and 47. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 12:03. The first one was on East Michigan Street near North Sherman Drive. IMPD officer Drew Brown says they found a man who was taken to a hospital but didn't survive.
These are not just numbers on paper. These are lives that are being impacted. These are families that are not going to get to spend the upcoming holidays with their loved ones.
He tells Wish TV 2 people were shot a couple hours later on Forest Manor Avenue near East 30th Street. One of them died at the scene. Police say another person is in bad shape after they were shot on Gladstone Avenue. The 2026 legislative session is underway. Jarrett Lewis reports on what the Speaker of the House is laying out for lawmakers.
One of the more important issues House Speaker Todd Houston says will be addressed in the session is reducing the tax burden on Hoosiers.
Indiana's cut taxes for residents every year over the last decade, saving Hoosier taxpayers over $20 billion.
According to Houston, Indiana ranks 7th in the country for attracting new residents, and the state's GDP has been growing at a faster rate than all of our neighboring states. Some other things on lawmakers' plates include growing the economy, reducing energy costs, and giving residents a better shot at owning a home.
And the 8-2 Indianapolis Colts play the 5-5 Kansas City Chiefs this afternoon. Quarterback Daniel Jones is off the injury report and will play. Kickoff at 1. Here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies for your Sunday. High temperatures in the mid-50s. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. Patchy early morning fog can't be ruled out. Lows in the low to mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Everyone is talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Dennis.
I was in the process of refinishing my garage and, trying to turn it into a man cave. So I started searching, online, and I ran across Galaxy.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings is not epoxy. It's better.
First thing I wanted to do initially is I wanted to repair where the concrete had eroded. They said they could do that. I said, well, heck, let me go ahead and get the entire floor covered.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
They were so courteous and respectful of the home and the property. And when they're done, they cleaned up, picked up, swept up. It was like they were never there.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
I would recommend Galaxy over any other competitor, hands down. You're going to be taken care of and you're going to be satisfied. These guys know what they're doing.
Welcome to the first day, 93 WIBC. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for watching us on YouTube, both of you.
No, that's not true. There's 10 or 11 people right now.
That is discrediting to all of everybody.
Well, I mean, I don't know who's there. I don't know. I usually just figure it's my mom and maybe my sister are watching. It's Sunday. It's before a Colts game. I figure people are busy. It's Thanksgiving week. Many of you are traveling over the next few days. I'm Terry. That's Denny. Denny Smith.
Good morning. Don't
Kielynn
forget
Talley.
sweet Kielynn.
Aw, happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, we'll be with you on Thanksgiving Day. I don't know what time. They haven't given us our time yet, but we'll be here with you on Thanksgiving morning as you're getting set for family and friends and cooking and all that you're doing. Listen, there's a lot. This is going to be just a very short segment because we're going to talk a little bit about redistricting coming up, which this makes me crazy, but we're going to do it anyway. For the first time in United States music history, an AI-generated country song called Walk My Way by Breaking Rust has reached #1 on the Billboard Country Digital Song Sales Chart.
So how you feel about that?
Well, let me play a little bit for you. And would you know, I guess is my question.
Been beat down, but I don't stay low.
No, that sounds like Keb.
Got mud on my jeans, still ready to go.
I would never know. Not in a million years.
Every scar's a story that I survived. I've been through hell, but I'm still alive.
It's good.
They said, slow down, boy, don't go too fast. But I ain't never been one to live in the past. I keep moving forward, never looking back with a worn-out hat and a six-string strap.
If AI created the lyrics or else
You
it's
can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk.
It's good. I think that's a good song.
The thing about AI is it's a language model, and it can pick up every little nuance of voice texture and music. You know, it already knows what a Picardy third is. I mean, we don't have to do that in our heads with music.
A lot of country stars are pretty angry about this, but country stars have said, you know what, AI can do the music and stuff, but they sure can't tour and come and visit you, in your city, in your town.
That's right.
They can't come and do a show for you.
Well, Terry, even our trade, Kielynn, if I screw up on a spot and I need 1 or 2 words fixed, I'm ready and willing there on the farm to recut it. But they say, no, we got this.
It's quick.
It's quicker.
And they fix it.
It's just quicker than you going and laying down the words. And then, it's just quicker. And because of that song, another data center has been put up. So there you go.
Well, I think that's what the frustration is. It takes so much energy, and it's just using all of the talent that we already set for it to be AI. It's AI's talent.
Our personalities are neutered. They absorb all of our personalities, and they create whatever they want or need or they think that the audience is expecting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that, ladies.
I know it, but it's #1 on Billboard in country AI. Or not AI, but country digital, which I guess, is that a whole new category? Or
I guess it might as well be at this point.
Come on.
Yeah.
Although AI bans are in the talks right now, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Where do they get their statistics? get them from YouTube? Do they get them from Spotify? Do they get them from streaming? How do they know what's first now?
I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't know. I'm sure that they have, well, probably.
Well, they used to be able to take our ratings.
The AI is trying to put it together. And now the AI, just as we knew, is coming for us, and it's making it number one because it can.
Yeah, we are already AI. I mean, if you're watching us on YouTube, those are AI-generated images. That's not us.
Oh, my gosh. Stop.
I wish.
Denny Smith.
I wish, because I would probably maybe I would look better, But no, AI has decided
well,
this
that.
is.
Isn't that where the filters started?
Oh my gosh, there's so many stories.
This is so easy with you, ladies.
Can we have something nicer for this Sunday?
Yeah. I tell you, there are so many stories that I wanted to get to today, and I know, but there was a conversation about nurses and some of professions that have been declassified, and according to Trump and the education secretary, they've declassified
for baccalaureate
some
degrees,
of them. Right. And taking away maybe some of that money, getting lesser loans, and there's been quite a fury among nurses in particular on this, and whether there are two different sides to this, whether it's a setback or it's not letting nurses be put into a category where they're going to be paying lots of money for these loans, paying for the rest of their lives. If that's for you, I'm so torn on this because I don't know which it is.
I don't have enough information to make a decision, but when they do things like this, it does open up the profession to a lot more people.
Yeah.
And that might be what they're trying to do, Terry.
Well, I don't know, but I know we need you desperately, nurses, and you're still our heroes. I know many of them said, look, we were all your heroes here during COVID, and now it feels like we're being put into the Department of Education is redefining which academic programs qualify for professional degree loan limits. There's a lot to it, but they're defining which programs can access the highest federal borrowing limits. So those limits are now available and reserved just for doctors, dentists, lawyers, pharmacists, veterinarians, and a few others. But nurses were not added to that high limit category.
As a financial advisor, I'm all for lowering debt limits because people are coming out of, I had a physician that came out of med school with $750,000 in student loan debt.
And you
can't. Right. You might want to put a limit on it just to protect them a little bit.
Well, and I think another question is, why do nurses need to pay anybody? I mean, why is school so expensive?
Because schools.
I know, we got to go. We got to take a break.
It's a club, and we're not in it. I'll say that.
But coming up, that's another conversation. I'm sure that there will be lots of discussion this week too, and also on redistricting and so much more coming up. But we're going to talk about it too, and it's an interesting perspective coming from Dr. Wilson, who's a professor at UND. She'll join us next. You'll hear that conversation. 93 WIBC.
Hi. What a time to be alive.
93 WIBC. It is Terri Stacy. Listen, this discussion of redistricting has been going on now for 3 months, and we are where we are at this very moment. Most of you are up to date. You know what's happening. I thought that we would speak to Dr. Laura Merrifield Wilson. She's an associate professor of political science at the University of Indianapolis. And Kielynn, she's also been the host of
Recenter Indiana hosted some redistricting listening sessions. And Dr. Laura, she participated and hosted a redistricting information and educational part of this listening session to get people kind of caught up with where we're at and why these conversations are happening.
Yeah, I think it was important. And from that, we have learned that the majority of those that were part of these listening sessions says, no, we don't want to do this now. This is not, there's so many other important issues. But Dr. Wilson, I won't keep you but a few minutes because I know you're somewhere on this Sunday morning with kids. So I thank you for joining us this morning. How are you?
Oh, I am doing well, and it is my pleasure. I always love talking about politics, and you know what? My kids don't like hearing about it, so I'm glad I get to talk with you this morning.
Well, President Trump and the Republicans' line of argument is that Democrats have gerrymandered current maps so badly that it's time for Republicans to do the same. But history really shows that both parties are guilty of doing this, and my question is, how is this even legal?
Well, it's crazy to start with, and you're absolutely right. I want to emphasize both parties can and will gerrymander when they have the opportunity to, and we've seen that throughout literal decades of drawing the district lines. But our state legislature in Indiana has the legal constitutional authority to redraw them, so they have that power. The real question, and this is probably what you were asking when you said, is this legal? How could it be? Is whether or not they have the opportunity to do it in these off-cycle years. So we always redistrict just because we recognize that population grows and it shifts, but you don't typically see it when we haven't had a census for 5 years. And that's the real question. There is constitutional arguments with regards to the Indiana Constitution of 1851, whether or not it is permissible. And I will say I'm not a constitutional lawyer in that regard. It would certainly come down to the courts if we did ultimately pursue redistricting. At the moment, it doesn't look like our state will. But there's a lot of questions about there. There's a lot of questions about the legal and constitutional authority. Specifically here for Indiana, every state utilizes a different process. But for us, it's not clear. That's why I would just emphasize it is not clear whether or not it would be legal or constitutional. And I think that should really be of interest and concern for all Hoosiers.
Kielynn?
Redistricting is normal. It happens every 10 years. But with this mid-decade redistricting, can you talk through the pros and cons of it so we're all on level ground with why this conversation even is happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the real benefit would be drawing those district lines in a way that's going to benefit the majority party. And in Indiana, we're talking about our state legislature doing the redrawing, and we're talking about the congressional districts. So this would benefit the Republican Party. Right now, the Republicans enjoy a unified government, meaning they hold both chambers of Congress, that's the House and the Senate, and they have the presidency. But in order to pass legislation, a lot of times people think unified government is better. It's easier because you have a majority in all chambers. So that's a real benefit for the Republicans that are looking to do this right now. And there is nationally this issue where you're looking at Texas redrew 5 congressional districts to favor the Republicans. Well, California did the same thing with 5 districts to favor the Democrats. So in terms of statewide issues and the push within a state, it's like, look, these states are doing it and they're favoring the other side. So that's a large reason for the argument in terms of favoring redistricting. But there's also a strong pushback. And we've seen a lot of public opinion polls that indicate a slight majority of Hoosiers don't support redistricting, and in large part because it costs money, it takes time. This isn't something we normally do. But I also think there's an important argument in terms of precedent. And when you think of changing the rules impact the game. But if you change the rules to benefit your team this time around, you have irrevocably changed the rules that might benefit the other team. And in this case, I'm talking about political parties. So there is a very slippery slope that I know some folks are very concerned with, is if we did this now, what's not to say we wouldn't do this again 2 years from now, and then 3 years from now, and then anytime we could or wanted to or just on a whim. And I mentioned the cost. There's a cost in terms of time, right? There's also a physical, financial cost. And the estimates are between $250,000 to $500,000. But there's a lot of stuff going on in our state. There's a lot of places we want to spend money. And some opponents say this just isn't a place where they want to put that investment.
Yeah. Has there ever been any talk of let's stop this? Let's stop doing this. Let's not make this something that we are able to do anymore. I'm sure probably not, right? This is something that will continue on until maybe somebody says, let's stop doing this.
Specific to the fact that our state legislators get to draw the district lines, in some states they don't. That's part of why California had Proposition 50 on the ballot 2 weeks ago, because their state legislature does not have that authority. That question comes up, right? And like, hey, should we do this? Should we? Maybe we should reconsider it. And I will say that the difficulty is that in order to change that, it would have to go through legislators. So you would be asking the very people who have that power, and not only do our legislators draw congressional districts, they draw their own districts. You'd be asking them to give up that authority. And I think we can all understand why that would be very tricky. That'd be difficult. I will say states like California have done it. But California is obviously culturally very different. I think politically couldn't be more different than us. So while the questions come up, we have not come up with a new idea, a new solution, a new way to address it in our state at least.
This is not necessarily a fun discussion, and it's not fun for the politicians, I'm sure, either.
No, it's become dangerous now.
Exactly, to the point where Indiana State Senator Greg Goode, he was involved in the swatting incident a week ago after President Trump had posted his Truth Social comments about his opposition to the redistricting efforts. And I feel like this political division is within every topic, even this, I would say, relatively superficial topic of redistricting.
Yeah.
Have you seen this ever before in past times with?
No, I haven't. It was full stop, mic drop, no. And I think it's really concerning, first of all, any type of threat of violence, intimidation. We've seen these swatting incidences. We've heard of people saying, well, their families have been threatened. And when you think of public service, I recognize there can be a lot of political issues, a lot of things people don't agree with, but to have it come down to this, and when we see it fairly rampantly, I've been keeping track. I think we're talking about almost a dozen legislators, plus the governor, plus a city county councilor has publicly come forward and said, hey, I've had these threats against myself and my family. It's unbelievable to start with. To my understanding, my knowledge, unprecedented. Haven't seen it. And I think the worst thing from my perspective about this is it shouldn't be a political issue, right? We typically redistrict every 10 years because we know, as I said, population grows and shifts. And yeah, we want to account for that. We want to make sure our districts are apportioned in terms of population. But this is not, we're not talking about abortion or immigration. We're not talking about terrorists, right? Really important political issues. This is a partisan issue. I think when you're considering that, it's all the more upsetting, and political violence is always upsetting, but it is all the more upsetting to see that come about. And I think a lot of people, this could be that wake up moment. We're like, really, is this what our politics have come down to? Because if your politics call you to incite violence, you need to check your politics.
Yeah. This has been quite a teaching moment for you. This is what you do. She's an associate professor of political science at the University of Indianapolis. This has been a big teaching moment. This has been a discussion I'm assuming that even the young people are interested in or learning more about.
They are, and I have to say, if there was any silver lining to it, that is absolutely it. It is fun to see students get engaged and follow, and it connects to so many different concepts that are important in terms of an American democracy. We have representatives, we select them, but how do they get selected in terms of districts and constituents and things? And I will say, I think it is important, especially for young people, when you have these kind of headlines. I think generally an easy topic to understand, although I understand very divisive. It's good. They start to pay attention. I hope that what younger people see, especially in terms of the political violence, is like, okay, that's something that can happen. We're not going to do that, right? We can counter that. That's not acceptable. That is not okay. That's not permissible in a healthy democracy. But also they see the value of their vote, their voice, and they can make the connection in terms of what we're talking about in class. And then, hey, let's look what's going on right now in our country.
That is a wonderful point, because I've heard a lot of comments about that. What does my voice actually mean to these votes, to what is happening in the political world?
Well, it feels like that nobody's listening to that's in politics. That's our leaders are listening to their constituents, the people that put them in that job. That's what it feels like. But from a young person's perspective, Kielynn.
Absolutely. And how much do we actually mean as constituents to their votes?
I think quite a bit. And again, maybe this is the second silver lining. Look at this. We're finding all sorts of positives out of what can be a really negative topic. But I heard from so many legislators, we see their press releases, right? Their statements. They say, I have heard from my constituents. My constituents tell me. Now, I think it's important to know, because anyone can feel disheartened about, is your representative listening to you? It doesn't mean your one single phone call or your email or your mean tweet is going to change hearts and minds. But I do believe legislators listen. And I think there's also an important part of it where it's like, hey, get your friends together, educate people, right? Tell people, do they know this is going on? Have them reach out. Because legislators' job security is re-election. So they very much are dependent on constituent opinions. Sometimes there's different leadership theories, some styles where they have to defy what their constituents want for what they believe is best. And constituents can punish them. They have re-elected, and they have chosen to elect other people. I do think this example, especially with regards to Indiana politics, has shown us that legislators are listening. They are paying attention. It may not be that they do everything you want the same way you want it every single time. I do feel that it illustrates, though, how constituents have a voice and how representatives are very interested in making sure that they are representing the whole of their constituency, the whole of their district. Understanding, of course, it's never going to be 100% wants anything, but they are responsive, they're listening, and they're processing what they hear from their constituents.
Dr. Laura Merrifield Wilson, she is the Associate Professor of Political Science at UIndy and the host of Positively Politics on WICR 88.7 The Diamond. If you want to hear those conversations she had as part of the Recenter redistricting listening sessions, you can go to indianacitizen.org to hear all of that and more. Thank you again, Laura. And coming up, we've got some show and tell.
It's about time.
Yeah, some Ethan Hatcher coming to the studio next. 93 WIBC.
Picture this. Your career ends, your pay
afternoon. It's 12:36. Terri Stacy along with Denny Smith and Kielynn Talley. You know, Denny and Kielynn, we were talking earlier about what the Department of Education has come out and said, what they want to stop. And what they want to stop are colleges from charging whatever they want, students from borrowing unlimited amounts of any master's program, massive debt from schools with poor cost to salary outcomes. So they created a small, tightly defined professional category with higher loan limits, mostly programs that require doctorate level training, and so on and so forth. Who is not on that list are graduate nurses, our nurses. Our nurses then were taken off of this list. And it caused quite a stir among the nursing profession and healthcare professionals. Hi, Ethan Hatcher.
Hey.
When it comes to getting that next degree, that higher degree.
Nursing program should just be a 2-year degree, though.
Well, but you also want to, oftentimes, because of the nursing shortage, because doctors shortage as well, nurses are doing more and they need that higher education. I talked to this fantastic lady during the break, India Owens, and I want you to hear what she has to say. Go ahead and play this, Kielynn. India is with us, and India is a nurse. India, explain to me what this all means.
Taking the professionalism out of the title in nurse mostly affects nurses who are wanting to continue their education, to get their master's degree or their doctorate degree or their PhD. Some nurse scientists need a PhD. To teach, we need a master's degree or a DNP. And so what this does is it chokes off the ability for us to teach the number of students we need to become nurses. Because if there are not enough educators, and there are not enough educators today, so when this happens and I can't afford the education to get my doctorate or my master's degree, then there's no teachers left. I am 67 years old, and I teach as an adjunct professor at IU School of Nursing. That's my retirement job, my give-back job, so that when I need a nurse in a couple years, there'll be one there. And so this severely limits not only everyone's ability to advance their practice, but also it significantly impacts underserved people, nurses, men and women who want to go on to that doctorate level or that scientific PhD level. And those PhDs do nursing research. So how do we get better at what we do? We want to have studies to do the evidence.
Were you shocked to hear this news?
I was very shocked. Yes, I was, because we have been talking about the nursing shortage for years, Terry, and lobbying in Washington, D.C. for help to get more educators in the pipeline so that we can bring more nurses on board. And to get this, it's like that nobody was listening, apparently. So it's very frustrating.
That's India. I spoke to her a little bit ago. She, as you heard, is a nurse. She's a professor. But again, the Department of Education redefining which academic programs qualify for that professional degree loan limits, and they are not defining which jobs are professional careers. So this is, again, I'm grateful to hear from the nurses. We love you. We're grateful to you. You still are our heroes. You are our heroes. And I know this is a shock to many of you as I watched social media last night when the word came out. The number of those in healthcare professions has said, this is not good. So we get a little bit of a taste from India, what it's like as a nurse and hearing that news. Ethan Hatcher is here. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for First Day Show and Tell with Ethan Hatcher, who you hear on Saturday nights right here, Saturday nights on The Circle on WIBC. Hi, Ethan.
Hey, Terry, Denny, and Kielynn. Happy to be here again.
I know you wanted to be a surgical nurse, but this probably, now that you've heard, you probably are out.
Right? Yeah, I was really aching for that, to go back to college.
I know. I know. Hey,
no joke, I used to have nightmares about having to go back to college. I would, imagine that there was something wrong with my degree, and I had to, go back and take a miscellaneous class, and I'm like, no, please, God, don't send me back to college.
Honestly, I don't think I could sit still for a minute in any room. I mean, I try. I'm up and down here in this room for 2 hours. I'm up at least 15 times.
You're like a ferret on speed, You're really moving all the time.
How many ferrets have you put on speed,
I'm
Denny?
just telling you, this woman is on the move.
I just am moving. Ethan, what do you have for us today in your collection of cool things?
Well, I thought since the Treasury officially ended production of the penny after more than 200 years of history here in the United States, on November 12th this year, they stopped production. So this is a numismatic antique. This is the 1844 model penny from the United Kingdom. And this is the Victoria model penny. I'll hold it up to the camera here.
That's
can
a little
you see
too
it,
close.
Kylan?
Back off just a little bit.
Go down just a perfect.
There we go.
That's perfect.
That way you can see it right up there in the camera.
Wow, that's so cool, Ethan. How long have you had this precious gem?
I've had this for a couple years now. This was produced between the years of 1844 and 1848. It actually represents a pretty considerable numismatic innovation because of the bimetallic nature. Here, I'll hand that to you.
Which was very rare in numismatics.
Yes, especially at that time. It was a kind of a new innovation, and it was to address the weight of the copper penny because these things were so heavy, and the British Empire in the mid-19th century was so large, it was a considerable expense just to be lugging these things around. Kind of a similar problem that the United States Treasury was attempting to address.
I remember as a kid, we all had those little blue books, and we all had our penny collections, our nickels and quarters, and I remember that everybody's dream was to get to the 1909 Lincoln VDBS. That was the first of the pennies, 1909, or the Lincoln penny.
Sure.
And we all dreamed of getting that. We would go through tons and tons of pennies. Now I hear that they're selling pennies on eBay because they say they're not going to make pennies anymore.
And, of course, the steel pennies during the war years of
41
World War II.
through 43.
A steel penny?
Yeah.
Was it the
those
size
are also
of a
collectible.
copper penny?
It
They
was
are
silver.
the exact same size, except they were pressed out of steel because they needed copper for the war effort.
For the bullets.
That's got to be worth something for the bullets.
That's what that was for.
Was it for?
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be worth something if you've got something like that, right?
I think any numismatics. I don't know if there's as many knucklehead coin collectors as there used to be.
There are still quite a lot of coin collectors, but the name of the game is rarity. Everybody wants the coin that nobody else can get, so the more common the coins are, the less valuable they tend to be. And there
sort
are
of
still
like radio people.
Right.
You know?
That's why we're paid pennies on the
That's
dollar.
why we're paid pennies on the dollar. You got that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So
Ethan.
this was made by the metallurgist Joseph Moore, and it was produced by his company Joseph Moore Limited, like I said, between 1844 and 1848. He was attempting to negotiate with the Treasury, or I should say the Royal Mint, because they were trying to explore different options with the penny at this time, but he got a little bit too big for his britches, and he produced so many of these that they became circulated in just around people's shops, and the Royal Mint had to produce a decree that said, "Hey, we didn't make these things. They're not official currency, but they were very popular." And they ultimately went a different direction because he kind of exceeded his station. We know how formal mid-19th century Britain tended to be.
All right, you got another coin there. What's this other coin?
We're not supposed to be talking about that, Uncle Denny. This came from Uncle Adolf.
Uncle Adolf. I saw it, and I thought, coins are coins. We can talk about history no matter who the knucklehead was. I mean, you've seen the coins from ancient Spain, and you've seen the coins from Italy, where we had Mussolini and everybody else on them.
Sure.
It's okay. So is there a market for what we call obscene coins?
Oh,
like
yeah,
from Nazi Germany.
There is still a market for that. Of course, the market is limited because this stuff tends to make people uncomfortable. Just even being associated with it. I am intrigued because of the historical nature, and then we can't forget the terrible atrocities that were committed during World War II.
What do we
this
do
is
with
an echo of history.
Real quick, I have an ancient Nazi dagger that my great uncle Bob, who was in England at the time, got from a German officer. And it's sort of a pariah in the family. My brother doesn't want it. I've got it because it came from my dad. And what do you do with stuff like that? Is there a market for these things?
There is a market, but it should having antiques like that. What I love about all antiques is they tell a story, and ugly antiques like that force us to confront the uglier parts of our history, so that way we can learn and hopefully never repeat them again.
I might want to send that to the scrappers.
Well,
to the scrappers.
A lot of
The
people,
scrappers.
a lot of
It
people
melted
have, but
down.
I will advise against that because it actually increases the value
of the
of other
others.
antiques for people who
I
have
might
them.
bring that in
New York
sometime.
made a huge mistake when they did that. They had a public crushing ceremony for ivory in Central Park, and it just increased the demand for ivory. But in the process, they smashed fabulous antiques, which was just a shame.
All right.
Before we let you go, so obviously we're not making pennies anymore. How long does it take for a penny then to become a collectible to where there is a value? Or will we ever see it?
You're kind of gambling on that, especially with modern currency. There is a collectible market even for modern coins. People are, right now in the process of hoarding pennies because of the prospective value. It's always a game of rarity. The more there are, the less they're worth. That's how it works with coins.
That's the formula right there.
Yeah, but not
Isn't that the
lifetime.
formula for people too?
Yeah.
Not my lifetime.
The less they're worth. Yeah.
Well, that's why you want to be
I
an
see what you did, Kai.
irreplaceable talent, which I hope to be here on WIBC. Because
Absolutely.
nobody's talking about
Yeah, good luck with
like
that.
this.
And,
You're a national gem.
And I'll see you in therapy.
Saturday nights on The Circle with Ethan Hatcher. It's the best. Thank you, friend.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Terry.
you. And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You betcha. Coming back, food news with Kielynn Talley after the break on 93 WIBC.
Great food and pregame fun with fellow fans.
Shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
Guess it. Hamilton is coming to town. Hamilton is... Yes, Terry, sing along with me. I'm not singing Well, this is a great song.
Hamilton is coming to town.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are so
It's
good for
supposed
just
to be
jumping
Santa,
in. I
Terry.
appreciate you. But it is coming to town December 2nd to 14th. You can get your tickets now at indianapolis.broadway.com. This is the first day with Terri Stacy, 93 WIBC, and we are celebrating a new drink during our food news today.
Food's glorious food. Hot sausage and mustard.
The Duel at Dawn, a partnership between Sun King and Broadway in Indianapolis for Hamilton coming to Indy for the third time now. It's very similar to the Defying Gravity and popular drinks that they had with their Wicked promotion. But we have some friends here to talk about it. We have Broadway in Indianapolis's Matt Porter here to help us out. Hi, Matt Porter.
Hi.
Thank you for coming back to Indianapolis to see us.
I love being here.
And Sun King's marketing director, April Fetz, and lead brewer, Kelly Loud. Kelly, we'll start with you. Tell us about this new drink partnership.
Yeah, so Broadway Indianapolis came to Sun King again for the 13th beer. So
It's the 13th beer.
Yeah, it's the 13th beer that we've made with them. So we kind of dove back into what we thought maybe a colonial founding father recipe of beer would be, and we used some kind of staple ingredients they would have had back in those times. And
Like bats?
No, we don't put bats in anything. But we did corn and molasses and wheat, and we just kind of came up with a nice, easy drinking mix between a brown and a amber.
It's good. It's delicious. Go ahead, Kielynn.
Looking for that colonial inspiration, did you guys look up actual colonial recipes to get inspired by?
Yeah, so we did. We tried to look up recipes. We found a few like kind of hints and nods towards those things. But I actually went to the Library of Congress when I was in Washington, D.C. and tried to find a recipe. And I didn't end up finding it. That room was closed on that day. But I got my Library of Congress card and everything. So maybe someday I can look it up.
So then what goes next? You've got the recipe, what you want, how you want this to taste. Then go. Then what do you do?
Yeah, we just we kind of go full hog, and we just brew it. We just we don't even do trial batches. We are very confident in our abilities here at Sun King. So,
that's cool.
So we just kind of go for it and let the magic do its work. So
how do we get it? How do you get this beer, which is called Duel at Dawn?
Yeah, you can get it at any Sun King location other than the airport, I believe. So those will all be available. So if you guys who are drinking it at the show might find yourself wanting another 4-pack or something, you can grab it at the brewery. Or if you're not going to the show, which I suggest you all should, but you can get it just to try it and, reminisce at home.
It's it's a great concept. Kielynn, she couldn't wait to get it. Thank you. It's really delicious. It really is. Then once you create it, and then do you pass it on to Matthew and then Matthew Porter?
Well, I'll work with April here on the marketing side of things, and we have to get approval from the show on the artwork. So like this can is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
This like revolutionary like blue coat.
I believe it's a uniform of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it looks like Hamilton's.
Yeah, it
costume.
does look like Hamilton's.
It's so it's so cool.
It is.
And unique. And you can get this can at the theater when you're seeing the show. So you can drink your Duel at Dawn while you're at Hamilton.
Do you think it'll be a collector's item someday?
I hope so.
Because it really is just limited. You're only going to do this for so long.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
How long?
Well, we've already made the one batch we were going to plan on making, so.
That's it?
Yeah,
while supplies last.
While supplies last. But starting what date?
Starting on the 21st.
On the 21st of November, you'll be able to get it in stores or locations.
Yeah, it'll just be at Sun King locations.
It'll just be at Sun King locations. And then once the show starts December 2nd, then it will be at the Murat.
Yep.
Are you excited about Hamilton?
Oh,
How many times, Matthew Porter, have you seen Hamilton?
I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
I love the show. I love the entire show, but I love the first act like more than the entire show. So like I've seen the first act probably like 10 times.
April, and have you seen the show? Have you seen Hamilton before?
I've never seen it live, so I'm hoping.
Right?
I'm going to try to get those tickets.
It's pretty cool. April? You've seen it, Kelly?
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it. I actually saw it last year. I won tickets through the lottery last year. So my wife and I got to go, and we were in like the 6th row or something like that.
And you loved it, just as it's all the hype. You know, sometimes we hear hype, and then we go to see something and we're like, well, I don't get it.
And speaking of lottery, the Ham for Ham lottery will begin on the 21st, tomorrow.
Okay.
And folks can go to our Facebook page or our Instagram feed to find out how to download the app and enter the lottery.
Okay. All right. Got it. But we've got more to come. We still have MJ the Musical, The Wiz, Clue, Beauty and the Beast still to come this season.
Mm-hmm.
Did I forget anybody?
And Juliet.
Oh, and Juliet. Yes, that's the last one?
Yep.
That'll be the last one. But this season has started. It has started, and here we go.
Starting big.
It's starting big. Indianapolis.broadway.com. Get your tickets. And again, also the lottery.
Good luck. Don't throw away your shot on this one, and you will be satisfied with this drink. Go get it. Sun King.
Hey, listen, everybody. We thank you. You're part of our family, and we're grateful for every one of you. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Family, friends, everybody be safe. Don't throw stuff down the garbage disposal. Don't leave the food out for the dog. No chocolate, no grapes, no onions.
Try not to get arrested.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home's built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum. Until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew
Painted all my aluminum siding, and